strong.
Hi, and welcome to Funny Minds. I'm your host, Lynn B. And
co-host over here, Mr. Edward Biss. How are you?
and today we have Jiovani and on our show. And Gio is an actor and a comedian, and he's been with some of the best on stage. He also produced and acted in a series, the Comic Mafia. I've never heard of it. I looked at it, but I mean, I never heard of it at the time.
Sure. It's in pre-production right now.
Okay, because I looked at some clips and stuff, and it looked pretty interesting, and the whole bio on it was interesting. And he happens to be the Inappropriate Genius, and I'd love to know, did you give yourself that name? Did somebody else call that out on stage?
Actually, I was performing in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and a critic said, he said two things. He said, if laughter's the best medicine, then Gio is a pharmacy, which I loved.
That's awesome.
He said he is also an inappropriate genius, which I took as a positive. So I was like, I'm using it. That's mine. So that's my website, inappropriategenius.com.
I know, I saw that, and I'm like, all right, I got to find out, where did this come from, you know? But that's funny you say, that's what I always say, laughter is the best medicine. I always close my show with that, and because it's so true. I mean,
Absolutely.
if you can't laugh at yourself, if you can't laugh at life, you know, then you're a pretty unhappy person. Nobody wants to be around happy people.
To be referred to as inappropriate genius, to be honest with you, I think that is awesome. I'd be proud of that. As a comedian, that's awesome. That really is a compliment, because that is a desired effect.
Well, comedy, if you go to a comedy show and you get offended at something, then you need to look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we can't laugh at each other, I mean, life is too serious as it is right now. We need to be able to laugh at each other. You know, I grew up in the Bronx in New York, and if we weren't making fun of each other, it means we were mad at you or we didn't like you. You know,
that's true.
Yes. The more I made fun of you, the more I liked you. You know,
exactly. I'm a Jersey girl. My son, you know, we were born and bred in Jersey, and the same thing. I mean, my whole family is the same way. You put us all together, you know. We're like, it is a comedy show. We're a comedy show in ourselves when we're together as a family, you know. So you have to be that way in life. You know, other people look at you like you're crazy, but I don't feel like I'm crazy. Well, maybe I am. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, as long as we have a good time.
Exactly. What shirt do you have on? Who are you sporting over there?
Avalanche.
He's gone out of that.
The Avalanche.
And it doesn't
big game.
It doesn't look good for them.
I'm not even gonna broach the subject that I actually bet on Dallas.
You know what? At this point I would too. They look fantastic. But I was a Northeast fan, you know. So I've always been so I like so I was a Quebec Nordique fan. And I lived here, and we got the Avalanche by mistake. I don't know if you remember that whole thing, but the Nordiques wanted a new arena, and the city wasn't going to pay for it. And they said, well, Denver offered to buy us. And they said, well, go to Denver then. And Denver was like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
How long have you been out in the Colorado, Denver area?
I just moved back about 3 years ago, but I was here for about 20 years.
Okay. So you were born and raised in the Bronx, and then you escaped New York.
Yeah, both my grandparents, New York City cops.
Oh, wow.
I got stories. But, you know, as a matter of fact, you know, you're talking about the Inappropriate Genius. I don't know if you read it, but I was doing a show in New York City in February last year, and coming off stage, I got attacked coming off stage because someone didn't like one of the jokes that I had made. Really? And I don't think that's ridiculous. Yeah.
No, I didn't read that. I mean, I saw a lot of clips and I read over a lot of different things, but I didn't see that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's ridiculous. You know, if you don't like the joke, wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because why they call me the inappropriate genius is nothing is off limits to me. Nothing.
Oh, yeah,
you know, I make fun of myself. Like right now with Gaza and Israel, right? I still make Jew jokes. You know what I mean? But I don't do it in an attacking, mean-spirited way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I'm Irish. So I make jokes about being Irish and drinking and the
Ooh, so are we.
we gotta laugh at ourselves.
Really?
Of course.
You know,
it's more fun than an Irish funeral.
I know.
Hey, here you go. The shortest joke in the world. You ready? 2 Irishmen walk out of a bar.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, in New York as well.
We usually leave. Man. We usually leave right when we're getting thrown out, right?
Well, that's true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've been thrown out of places before. Yeah.
I had a point in my life where
I
spent more time at the Blarney Stone in Manhattan than I did in my own apartment.
Right?
Because I used to live in Brooklyn for some years, so I know it well. The good old Blarney Stone. My God. Cool. But
so Gio, how did you get started as a comedian? Let's go there. Let's go back in time.
Sure. Well, the first time I was on stage was in 6th grade, and I was doing like a magic show, you know, but with the little kids magic stuff.
Yeah.
And there was like 300 people in the audience. No one could see what I was doing on the stage. And I realized that. So I started making fun of myself, you know, doing self-deprecating stuff. And people started laughing. And I was hooked. I was like, this is awesome. This is great, you know. And I was always the class clown. I always loved making people laugh and joking around and pulling practical jokes. And that's how I got started. And my mom, I came home from senior favorites. I got voted class clown. And she was like, that's nothing to be proud of. And I said, you don't know the weirdos I go to school with. That's an accomplishment, you know? And then in 2010, I was on Last Comic Standing. And all of a sudden her phone, you know, she's on the East Coast. Her phone rang off the hook with all the relatives. Saw me on NBC. And I said, yeah, not to be proud of, huh? And she just kind of laughing, you know. And now I make a full-time living talking shit and having a good time.
Well, you certainly are doing a lot of shit. That's for damn sure. You're all over the place. My God, you know, and acting and producing too. And you've done films, and you know, that's really an accomplishment to go from, you know, comedy to a lot of other things like that. You know,
I appreciate that. I do a lot of shows for the troops. I do for Armed Forces Entertainment.
Okay.
And there's a thing in Colorado called the Colorado Freedom Festival, where all the money goes to help the mental health for veterans and things like that. And I do that pro bono. I do that just because I have such a soft spot in my heart for the troops. And that's fun. And I've met so many people doing that show.
Oh, I can imagine. And were you in the service yourself?
I was not. Both my dad and my uncle. My dad was in the Air Force, and my uncle was a Marine.
Oh,
and
the Air Force. They were both elite of the service. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but you know, I got to meet some of the bands that played were like Warrant and the Kicks and Autograph and Slaughter and all these bands, and I've made so many really good friends.
Okay.
And that's how I met Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias. He's one of my really good friends. After the Batman shooting, he saw that we were putting a benefit show together at the Improv here in Denver. And we get this email, and he's like, yeah, I'd really like to be a part of it. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like, that's the real Gabriel Iglesias. Yeah. And so, well, you know, you get this email out of the blue, and it's like, hey, I'm in. I want to be in it. And so I said, well, just answer it. And so we answered it, and we're like, okay, well, have your agent get a hold of me, this and that, and the other thing. Sure enough, the agent calls, and it was really him and Martine, he talks about, came out. We did this big show, raised a bunch of money for the victims of that shooting. And him and I just became friends because he plays practical jokes too. And him and I laugh so hard with weather.
That's great.
Yeah,
that is really great.
When you see him say, if you see him in public, he'll say, don't be afraid to ask me for an autograph or for a picture. He means every word of that. Every word. He is the sweetest, nicest guy I've ever met with that kind of fame.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, some people, are up there and they don't even want to give you the right time of day. But, that's great to hear that, he's just like an average guy, who's made it awesome. and is really kind to people too. Yeah, that's really important.
To kind of give you an idea, like my ex, she was a huge fan. And I was doing the Laughlin Laugh Fest in Laughlin, Nevada. And I knew I had a chance because he was the headliner. And I knew I had a chance to bring her backstage to meet him. And so we go backstage and she thinks we're just going to the green room. She's used to all this. And so security walks, opens the curtain, and there's Fluffy standing there with a towel around his neck. And she was like, oh my God. And Fluffy looks up and Fluffy sees me and he's like, dude. And I go, dude. And he gives me a big old hug. And I go, this is my girlfriend. I introduced her. First thing out of his mouth, he's eating Ritz crackers. She goes, want a cracker? And she's like, no. Okay. It was hilarious.
I got to ask you, how did he get the name Fluffy?
He gave it to himself because he's so fat. He says he's not fat, he's fluffy. He's fluffy.
Fluffy, yeah.
But he did lose, he lost over 100 pounds.
Wow.
When he tells that story that the doctor said you will die in the next few years, that was a true story. He really did.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he really sat in his truck outside and was crying because he thought it was over, and he made, and that's what we do as comedians. We take tragedy in our life and we kind of use the stage as therapy, and Fluffy he made a joke about it. He's like, I went outside, I started crying and I thought, this can't be. I just started making money.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's really a great guy.
So good. Yeah.
No, I was gonna bring up you talked about, Fluffy, here in news like that, but look at Ralphie May, saying
he was actually he was a very good friend of mine.
Yeah. Excellent comedian.
Oh my God. You talk about inappropriate and he doesn't care, and that's the way I am. I don't care if you're offended because, okay, say you get offended. Okay, good for you. Now what happens? Nothing happens. Exactly. You're offended. Okay, big deal, And Ralphie, I still have emails from him encouraging me because when I was starting out, he was starting out and he made it pretty big, Last Comic Standing and things. And so I would send him emails saying, hey man, anytime I can open for you, let me know. And his wife was actually a comedian too. And she would open for him, but he would send, we would talk and we would hang out. And as a matter of fact, let me just see real quick. One of the last pictures I took of him, I don't know if you can see that, but.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
And what a sweet, amazing guy, but like, again, like, he would come out and say stuff like, okay, black people, you ain't African-American, you just black. Okay. He's like, you've never been there. You're not from there. And it was just like, wow, I loved it.
If you think about it, like going to a comedy show or anything where it's going to be comedy, if you're that type of person that you can't take it, then you don't belong there. You really, because you've got to know, I go to a comedy show, I want to sit up front and personal. I want you to pick on me because I'm going to come back at you, So I want that. I enjoy that. But people in the audience that get offended, you don't belong there. Don't waste your money. Don't go,
No. And especially the entertainment industry, for the most part, is democratic. You know, there's more Democrats in it, and they're more liberal because it's the arts. So you go to the South or you go to certain places and you start talking about Trump or telling Trump jokes, you're lighting a powder keg. It's ridiculous. Another buddy of mine, John Caparillo, he got a glass of beer thrown at him because he was talking about negative about Trump, and this woman stood up and just threw a bottle of beer, threw a full bottle of beer at him. You know, and we can't see stuff coming. You know,
because of the lights and stuff. Yeah.
We can only see maybe 2 rows. You know, that's why you'll see us do this, trying to see who's talking. And so it's just, nowadays it seems like people go to these shows to find something to be mad about.
Yes.
Instead of relaxing and just laughing.
Yeah. And just enjoying the whole evening and everything that's going on, you know? Because like you said before, life is so stressful that you need to have comedy in it. You need something that's uplifting and something that's going to bring you out of that whole shell of, you know, I mean, I don't even hardly watch the news anymore because it's very depressing.
Oh, well, you also too want your comedians to have the freedom to do what they do, and which is to make you laugh. And they all have their own styles and their own views, their own way of doing things. If you're going to take away that freedom and you're going to take away their personality, I mean, it's just insane, to think that people wouldn't actually even try to do that.
I've actually had some clubs in Florida want to book me, and then they're like, "But you can't. I don't want you to do this joke or talk about this." And I'm like, "Then I'm not coming." There's no guarantee I'm going to do that material, but there's no guarantee I'm not. If you're going to censor me and you're the owner of a comedy club, you know, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, really.
That's of all people.
Yeah.
I did a show. I did a show in Orlando, right outside Universal Studios, and this was right after Ron DeSantis signed this law that if bars had any kind of drag shows at all, and there were kids in the bar, that they would lose their liquor license. So I was doing this was literally the next week. So I told the owner of the bar, I said, I want to do the show in drag. And he laughed.
I love it. I love it.
Because I don't care what, you know, if it's a laugh. And he said, Gio, I'd love to see that, but I'm afraid I'll lose my liquor license if a kid watches it. I said, I completely understand. So what I did instead is halfway through the show, I put on this rainbow tutu, and I did the rest of the show in this rainbow tutu up on stage. It was great.
Oh, that's awesome.
But then again, you're the inappropriate person. So, I mean, you were being inappropriate. There you go. You were living up to your name.
Yeah. And, you know, and another, a guy that I've talked to, Anthony Jeselnik, we talked about.
God, I love him.
Oh, he's
so smart, man. He is just, his jokes are so well thought out.
And the fact that he acts like he's arrogant, because he's not, you know, but he's like, that was a good joke. He goes, that was a smart joke, you know. Or he says, after the show, I want you to come up to me and say, Anthony, excellent as usual. And he's like, and that, yeah.
No. I love when he talks about dropping babies.
Yeah. Oh, my mom. I told my mom that joke. He does this joke as far as he's like, my sister is mad at me because I dropped my niece. Dropped her right on the ground, you know, and she's mad at me like it's my fault. He goes, who would hire me as a pallbearer? But it's,
oh no, man.
Yeah, you know, like,
he is awesome.
Like the hot spot. This is what Anthony and I were talking about, the fact that you can't talk about certain things right now. Like right now, you can't make Jew jokes, let's say. And then 6 months from now, it'll be, you can't make jokes about Trump or whatever, but Jew jokes are okay now. It's so hypocritical.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it's crazy. And there's no rhyme or reason. It's like, I want to know who's making these decisions, though.
Right.
Like, where's the meeting taking place?
Yeah.
And we're not invited.
Where was I when the memo came out? Right?
Yeah, like I check my email frequently. I do this joke. Here's an example of one of a Jewish, because I hit everybody. I do this joke about can we swear on this podcast?
Sure.
No, okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So I do this joke about how I'm single, so I'm on internet dating, and I said I did eHarmony, and I failed their question because they have test questions, and the question was, what is the most attractive thing you find in a woman? And my answer was, my dick. So that's one. But then I tell the audience that I was so desperate, I even went to like where Black people meet. I went to JDate, for the Jewish dating site. And I said, I dated a Jewish girl before, and it was great. It was just her mother was too overbearing, so it didn't work out. But then I thought to myself, why let that one incident ruin it? If at first you don't succeed, try again. And if anyone should have taken that to heart, it's the Germans. And then one step further is I say, well, even if I were to find a nice Jewish girl, I don't know how I would get a hold of her, because from what I understand, they don't have numbers anymore.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I could see him just running for the exit.
Oh dear!
And he go there. You're gonna say next Hitler. Oh my God!
I say, come on, like the Germans, they had their plan. They tried to make a good plan. They just couldn't execute it fully. Execution, something like that.
Yeah.
But see, when you do jokes like that, your audience does not go, like you were just saying, Ed, they don't go running out into the streets like, we're going to kill the Jews. It doesn't go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, if you tell racial jokes like black jokes versus white jokes or whatever, they don't go out into the streets wanting to harm somebody. They laugh about it because it is, and I tell people the most ignorant shit in the world to me is if you hate somebody based on the color of their skin, their religion, their sexual preference, whatever, that is the most ignorant shit you can do.
Right. You're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah. And I share with Dave Chappelle how he talks about trans people. And he's like, look, I'm your ally, and I'm your ally. You deserve all the rights every other human being has, 100%, but how far do I have to play into your game for your self-image?
Exactly.
Right.
Because
how far does this go?
Right. Exactly. Like, how far do you need me to like coddle you? You made the decision. If you're identify as a woman, you get the surgery. God bless you. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
You deserve every right everybody else has. But why do I have to keep supporting you and keep giving you assurance that everything's okay? Live your life like everybody else.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And that reminds me of another a joke I do, because I do trans jokes. And I do stuff like, I'll say things like, saying I identify as a woman is the exact same thing as saying I'm pretending to be. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like a trans woman is nothing more than a man with a permanent Halloween costume. When they dig you up in 100 years, they're going to be like, oh, this was a man and he happened to have really big tits.
Yeah.
That is like, that's what's going to happen.
You're like, what kind of weird surgeries were they doing to these people back then?
Yeah. This is like a religious
an elephant trunk sewn up to his crotch.
It was aliens. Aliens built these.
Hey, Gio, we are talking before you came on, we were talking about a comedian that I brought up. She's never heard of him, but I'm positive you have to be a massive fan of this guy, Stephen Wright.
Oh my God, he is amazing.
She's never heard of him. I was like, you have to check him out.
I have to look him up.
He's so monotone, and he just is. He is so out there. It's not even funny. I saw him one time where he almost broke out laughing, and he turned around really quick to get his conclusion. And he just looks at the drapes, and he's like, "They need to iron these." And it was like hilarious, just the way he said it. But you got to check Stephen Wright out.
I'll have to check him out.
He talked about his German Shepherd that he named Stay. And he's
Stay?
Like, and I'm like, here, Stay. And he walks like this. And then he's like, now he just ignores me and keeps typing. You know, it's like, it's crazy. I love Stephen Wright.
Love it. It's so brilliant.
Comedians that, years ago, comedians that, you looked up to and you really liked a lot.
The greatest of all time, Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
The greatest of all time, Richard Pryor.
Okay.
I remember being a little kid and watching George Carlin on Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
George Carlin, yep.
Yeah.
And my very first comedy album that I had to sneak out and buy was Steve Martin's stand-up album.
Oh,
and I remember having that on vinyl.
The first time I saw him, he was on Laughing and he did Happy Feet. And I fell off the couch and I hit my head because I was laughing so hard at the Happy Feet. It was just the most stupidest thing. But it was hysterical. It was absolutely hysterical. And
why I loved Richard Pryor so much is because he was an open book. Mm-hmm. You heard about him getting into trouble for doing something. He talked about it the next night on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
When he shot the car. He shot his car. Yeah. And he's like, they tried to charge me with kidnapping and holding her hostage. He goes, if the bitch wants to leave, she can leave, but she ain't leaving in my car.
I think the all-time famous was when he lit the match and he's like, what is this?
Oh yeah.
Richard Pryor on fire.
Live on the Sunset Strip.
Oh God, yeah.
Funny. That's like, so funny.
Fire should be used in the Olympics. He's like, fire is a motivator.
Yeah. I love it.
Oh my God.
Sticks make you run into trees.
Yeah. But real quick, I just remembered this was at one point one of the most questionable jokes I did because I just lost like 45 pounds. I used to be like around 250. And so I would tell the crowd, hey, when I do my dating jokes, I was like, I know by no stretch of the imagination am I a piece of ass. Okay. I understand that. And I'm like, so I decided to start eating healthier. So I became a vegetarian.
I saw your shirt that said that.
and then I said, but I'm a vegetarian turf. See? And I said, because I won't go down on a trans woman because that's processed meat.
Oh shit. Oh God, that's funny. That is funny.
Nothing's off limits.
Definitely not.
I'm trying to think of somebody I wanted to bring up, but
you had Greg Giraldo on your list you worked with. He's another one that is. Greg was.
You really talk smart. Him and I both went to NYU, and then he went on to Harvard Law and graduated Harvard Law.
Yeah. Really?
He was so intelligent, but the substances got him.
Yeah.
He was in Denver. He died September 29th, 2010. But he was in Denver like in May or June, and him and I were hanging out, and he would tell people he's sober, And I'm like, you're not sober, dude. He's like, I don't drink. And I'm like, yeah, but you still abuse the prescription painkillers.
Yeah.
I said, so you're not sober. You're still messing with your mind chemistry.
Right.
And then sure enough, you know, he passed away that September. And that was heartbreaking because he was on life support for, I think, 3 days. You know, but they knew he was gone. They were just waiting to get his legal issues, you know, in order.
Yeah.
But, you know,
but he was just a brilliant guy.
Oh my God. One of the best. And we became friends when I was auditioning for Last Comic Standing in New York City at the Gotham. And I made it from 380 something down to the final like 20.
Wow.
And I did my bit, but it was an empty room. And I'm used to working timing wise off the crowd. And so he never, ever compliments other comedians. And he said, Gio, he goes, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. He said, you are one of the best comedians as far as writing I have seen at this stage of your career. And he said, but the timing wasn't there. And he goes, I'm sure it was the room. So he had to pass. But that compliment was like huge.
Really? Really?
The only other bigger compliment I got is I was with Bobby Slayton, who was ranked as one of the top 10 comedians of all time by Comedy Central. And we were in the Virgin Islands, and he wasn't talking to me. He wasn't having it. Like the first probably 3 shows, he'd sit off by himself, eat his dinner, and say hi in passing. That was it. And then I went out and I destroyed it. Like I went out there from the moment I stepped on stage till I got off, I killed. And I've only done that twice in my career. And I had a heckler. I shut her down. I shut her down in a funny way. And then before the late show, I'm in the green room and Bobby's like, you want to go to dinner? And I was like, stunned. And I was like, sure, you know? So we're sitting at dinner and we're just talking, you know, shooting the shit. And all of a sudden he stops and he leans up on the table and he goes, kid, he goes, you have got some serious comedy chops. And I was like, wow. That was like, thank you. You know, I mean, from a legend, you know.
That's a tremendous compliment, really.
So that was pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. And how old were you back then? I mean, you were just, you know, how long were you in the business then?
I had been in the business maybe 5 years.
Oh, that's tremendous then.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And the biggest, the highest point in my career as far as performing is you're both familiar with Red Rocks, the amphitheater.
Oh yeah.
I got to perform there 3 times. And
really?
That is
whoa.
I love that. That place is just, it's a mind-blowing
the energy
spectacle place.
It is.
I mean, whether it's comedy, music, that was always a dream of mine as a musician to perform there, you know. I mean, and I watched you know, obviously you're familiar with Brian Regan, did a special and he filmed it at Red Rocks. And yeah, that place is... Oh, Bill, yes. Love Bill
Burgess.
Love Bill Burr
too. You know,
and
that's another guy that's hysterical. But you know, everything, there's no backstage. Everything is kind of below the stage. And I'm walking through, and it's all that red rock on both sides of the walls, and there's plaques of each year that it was open and what acts played there. And I'm just reading these names, you know, like the Eagles, the Beatles, you know, Metallica. I mean, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
And my friend was with me. I took her because she wanted to see backstage, and she's like, that seat you're sitting in? She goes, that could have been the exact seat Lars Ulrich from Metallica sat in when they were here. And I was like, whoa. Like,
really, your mind, like, really, you start to really think about it really intensely.
And
wow.
The halls, and to think these are the exact halls the Beatles walked, you know, back in 1965 or whenever they
right.
But to go from seeing your idol at Red Rocks and having to camp out for tickets to being the one that people are coming to see is like, wow.
I know.
Yeah.
And as a musician, Ed, you'll appreciate this, the acoustics. Have you been there?
I have never been there, but I was going to ask you about that.
The acoustics,
it looks like the echo.
Unbelievable. You could stand on the stage and I could be at the very top, like 88 rows up. And I could talk about this loud and we could have a conversation back and forth.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. It's amazing.
When
you really think about it, it's amazing.
It's natural. That's the crazy part. And I've played soccer stadiums, and usually outside, the sound doesn't travel well. So I have to visually watch the crowd to see the laughter. You know,
right.
At Red Rocks, I was able to go. The guy up there in the blue, he said that. That lady up there, 20 rows up, I heard her say that. That's how good the acoustics are. It is amazing.
Could you imagine seeing like the Eagles there, like acoustically? You know?
Who blew me away is my buddy Larry Walker from the Rockies and I. We went to see Steve Miller Band, and he played.
Man,
3.5 hours, no opening act. He started with his
3.5 hours.
He started with his first album, went all the way through stuff, and he only took about a 10-minute break so they could switch out guitars for him. That was it.
Wow.
Did the Dead ever play there? Did the Dead ever play there?
Oh, they played there a lot.
Probably.
Oh, I'm sure they must have.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's funny to say that. When I was 18 in high school, being from New York, a lot of my relatives were in the union, stagehands union.
Right.
They got me a job in Colorado as part of the union, and I missed the first 2 days of my senior year because I was doing the Grateful Dead show. It was a 3-day show.
Lucky you.
Yes, I got to actually see them with Jerry Garcia.
Oh, I love that.
Wow.
I saw him many times with Jerry Garcia. Yeah, Jerry Garcia.
You don't
unbelievable. Oh, yeah.
An interview with him, and they said, "What would you like to do before you died?" And he seriously thought. He goes, "Probably learn to play the guitar."
Wow. You know, it's funny you say that, Chingo, because I actually seen the Steve Miller Band open up for the Dead.
Yeah.
At RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. a million years ago, back when I used to live in New York. We took a little road trip and went to see that. So to see those guys together, but Steve Miller, oh my God.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. That's crazy. That's really crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Fantastic. The show was unbelievable.
So
you had anything
okay.
No, I was just gonna ask if you had anything going on right now as far as writing.
I was gonna ask the same thing, yeah.
Right now I am writing my first 1-hour special. And we're in talks with Amazon Prime for it.
Oh, okay.
We're going to be filming that in October, but I'm writing that. It's going to be called Inappropriate Truth. It's going to be the name.
Nice.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm going to talk about all of it, the politics, because it used to be that one side was better than the other, and now our whole political system is a joke. We are the laughing stock of the world. I have friends all over the world, and they're like, "You guys are stupid." Like they don't take us serious. And
I know.
So I covered that. I'm going to cover the trans movement. I'm going to cover racism and things like that. But yeah,
just going to let it loose. Let it loose. That's awesome.
Didn't Amazon just pick up the Kelsey brothers too?
I'm not sure.
I think they did. I think they're going to pick up their show. Yeah.
Are you familiar with? He passed away from diabetes, but Patrice O'Neill.
Yes.
He talked about an awesome comic.
Patrice he was awesome.
He never exploded because he refused to play the corporate game. He wouldn't play that game. But he said one time, the the sign of a true comedian is, he said, half your audience should be in total shock at what you just said, and the other half should be in hysterics, laughing their asses off. And that's when you know you're a true comedian. You know, don't be
that. But that's the truth. That's the truth. You know, who your friend was very, very truthful.
Yeah, because if you split the crowd, think about it. You split the crowd. Half of you love me, so you're going to go tell your friends about me, and the half that hates me is going to tell more people not to come see me, so they're going to come.
They're going to come just to see.
You know, so it's great.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, what are people going to do if you tell them not to do something? They're going to want to do it, right?
Yeah. Look at
teenagers. You can win.
And it's been proven, and you guys have probably done it. You have a good experience, say at a restaurant, you tell 2 or 3 people. You have a bad experience, you tell every single person whenever that comes up about that bad experience.
Right.
99 times.
Yes. Over and over.
And then some. Well,
so yeah, that's a hell of a lot of sense. And
yeah, it does. Honestly, when you think about it, it really does. Tell all of our fans where they can find you. What's all your social media and anything else that you would like to get out there.
My website, inappropriategenius.com. You can get tour dates. There's some videos on there. You can check out some of my past performances. And then all my social media is either just Jiovani, spelled Jiovani, or Giovani, again spelled with a J. And that's all my social media. The only one I'm not on is X, because I'm banned. They banned me.
You're banned? Really? Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh, that's all.
I got banned twice on Twitter, and then Elon Musk bought him. So my agent's like, well, maybe we can get your account back. And I said, great, try it. I got it back. I had it back for like 6 days.
And
I was done.
Well, I'm going to advertise you when your episode is up. I don't know if they'll ban me for it, but I'm going to advertise it because I do advertise.
I do the same. I appreciate it. Absolutely.
That's funny.
Yeah. I was banned. And really quick, we were talking about Anthony Jeselnik before. Oh, yeah. Him and I, when the marathon, the Boston Marathon explosion happened,
mm-hmm.
he put out a tweet, and he does this as part of his act, but he says, I put out a tweet, and he said, normally I don't bow down to censorship. He says, I don't pander to the corporate entities. He says, I put out a tweet that was a beauty. That's what he said. He said, my tweet said, other than that, how was the race? So,
oh my God,
I love it.
Oh, his sense of humor is just
unbelievable.
Well, he got a call from Comedy Central when he had a show, and they said, you need to take it down. And he said, I told him, fuck you. And they said, Anthony, you don't understand. If you don't take it down, your show's canceled and all those people are out of work. And he's like, I hate to say it, but I can't, because I couldn't go in Monday and tell somebody, hey, you're out of a job because I had a sweet tweet, He's like, I just couldn't do it. One of the things that got me in trouble was the same thing, Boston Marathon. And I tweeted, because of the explosion, no one realized that a white man won the Boston Marathon for the first time in 17 years. And then I put, from all witness accounts, he just exploded across the finish line.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God, they were probably hunting you down.
Oh my God.
Boy, fortunes.
Oh, really?
Now, Gio, think of that. Think of all the people that were like, you are a giant hot-on. Could you believe this asshole? He's a cocksucker. You piss off all of Boston now.
Yeah, exactly. And the other one I did was here in Denver. I got a bunch of shit. Because let me backtrack. Like when Whitney Houston died, right? Mm-hmm. All the TVs went to that. Like every channel automatically broke in. And I'm watching it, and my girlfriend, I could feel her staring at me from the side. And I was like, what? And she's like, you're trying to figure out how to make this funny, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely. You know, because if you don't make fun of the situation, doesn't mean they're going to bring them back. You know what I mean?
Really?
And like Anthony Jeselnik says, I'm on a tight schedule. I got to get these jokes out while I can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and every talk show host does the same thing every night,
right?
Really?
I just say what people are thinking. So when the shooting happened in Boulder and the police officer got killed, this is what got me banned on Twitter. I put out, hey, terrible thing that happened, but for all those looking for employment as a police officer, I think Boulder has an opening now.
And you got your fanny spanks.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I got
bad,
so
bad baby
hate mail.
Yes, bad baby. Oh. Well, that's why you're, that's why you're an inappropriate genius.
That's right.
So, I mean, really, they've just got to take that into consideration, Yep. Really. So, well, it's been a pleasure having you on, and you really are a lot of fun. You really are a lot of fun. I'm so happy that you accepted. I'm so happy you came on, and I had a great time with you.
Oh, this is awesome.
I don't think I'll get banned over it, but heck, yes, I do. Well, what are you going to do? They'll let me back on eventually.
Blame it on me.
I'll blame it on you.
Blame it on me. I'll take it.
It's Gio. They'll be like, I knew it was Gio.
It was Gio. All the time, it was him.
It's going to get to the point where they're just like, who's the guest? Yeah, no, that's not getting here. No, it's Gio? No. Don't even look at it. Don't even hear it.
I don't want to hear his name. Well, we are funnyminds.com, and if you go on our website, you're going to see a lot of things that we have on there, and a lot of icons that'll bring you out to our shows. We're on video and audio, all major platforms, and we have a store, and the store has a lot of new things in it, and we have a new logo, and go
check
it out. Yes. And also we have two organizations that we're very involved with, and that's St. Jude's Children's Hospital and breast cancer. And if you go on, you'll see a big purple button, and if you press that button, you can make donations to those two organizations. And everything they get, I'm sure everybody is well aware of those two organizations, so that they're very good and they do a lot of good for a lot of people. So again, funnyminds.com, please check us out. Thank you so much for being with us, Gio, today. I really had a great time. I'm so happy to have really met you, and I'll keep looking up on your website, I see different things, and see when you're
she wants to stop
mafia. No.
She's good. You're gonna
be comes out,
on stage. So you're gonna be like, oh my god, is that the lady with purple hair? I was
yes, it's her. I remember her. Oh my god,
you're doing it, Colorado.
Better than the 400 carry transvestite that's following me.
I got a question, Bob.
Go ahead.
You said you have a big purple button. Could we make the big purple button a big purple breast?
No. Because
it's for breast cancer, and we have a big purple breast, and they
but it's also for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So
children get
a little.
I know children has to nurse. I understand that. I'll put that into my I'll think about it folder. How's about that? My think about it folder's about this high now. Well, to all of our fans, everybody listening and watching. Thank you for being with us today. And remember, like I always say, laughter is the best medicine. And if you can't laugh, you can't live right. So there you go. Have a great day. Have a great time. Love you all. And we'll see you next time.
Gio, thank you so much.
Thank you, Gio.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
Are you guys on the East Coast?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm moving to Rhode Island, and so I have a bunch of East Coast shows coming up this fall. So
okay, I just booked Ian back for July. He's going to be on the show too, but after the summer because he's very busy. But I'll go on and look at your schedule too. We'll catch you.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. And I'll let you know that I'm in the audience because I'm going to sit up close and personal.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Take care.
Take care, Gio.
Bye.
Bye.